do you understand what's going on in our local market? I know a lot of you watch my market updates, and somebody told me recently that they'd like a little bit more in-depth information on what all of that data actually even means. As your professional licensed agent here, it's my duty to keep you and our community well informed. Let's get started. Mortgage rates have been holding steady at around 7%, and you might be curious about how factors like labor markets can influence these rates. So let's dive a little bit deeper into this. When unemployment rises, it leads to reduced consumer spending. This increased demand for bonds, including mortgage-backed securities, can drive mortgage rates down, potentially benefiting homebuyers in Rolla, Missouri. But why do investors flock to U.S. bonds anyway during uncertain times? Well, the answer is because safety. When global uncertainties arise, investors seek secure investments. The U.S. bond market is viewed as a safe haven. Bonds issued in the United States are considered among some of the safest investments globally. They provide a very reliable way for investors to preserve their capital gain during economic turbulence. So now, what does this mean for our local Rolla, Missouri market? If predictions hold true, we could see more favorable mortgage rates, and that's of course what we're all hoping for. I know a lot of buyers are, and we're hoping that they might be in the mid-5s. Many of the mortgage lenders I've spoken to don't think this is going to happen until the first quarter of 2024. So global uncertainties continue to play a big role in influencing our interest rates. As investors turn to U.S. bond markets for safety, it affects the overall demand for bonds, which can in turn impact our mortgage rates. So determining the exact demand for Rolla homes in our local market requires analyzing various real estate metrics and data points. While there isn't a single one, you can look at several key indicators to gauge what our market demand is. For instance, and you hear me talk about this a lot, is days on the market. This metric shows how long properties typically stay on the market before being sold. A shorter DOM generally indicates a higher demand as homes are selling more quickly. Inventory levels are the number of homes for sale compared to the number of active buyers is also a very important indicator. A low inventory relative to a buyer demand can suggest higher demands. And tracking the number of pending sales can really provide insight into the pace of transactions in the market. So a higher number of pending sales can indicate strong demand. And then if there's multiple offers and bidding wars are not uncommon, it's a sign of high demand, especially for desirable properties. Analyzing price trends over time can help us assess this demand. So rapid price appreciation may indicate strong buyer interest, and that's what we've seen over the last few years. Because the interest rates were so low, it really helped. Local economic factors like job growth, population growth, and economic stability can influence our housing demands. So a strong local economy often correlates with increased housing demands. And then, interest from out-of-town buyers, we've had a lot of that. It can be a sign of demand, especially people are relocating here to Rolla, Missouri. Real estate professionals in our area, we can provide you with on-the-ground insights into buyer activity and market conditions. This is our job, this is what we live for, and any good agent is keeping up to date with this. So consider any seasonal variations as well. Some markets experience higher demand during certain times of the year and slower demands during certain times of the year. So utilize available data as a census report, economic indicators to understand demographic and economic trends that influence demand. To get to a real-time snapshot of demand, it's essential to regularly monitor these indicators and consult me with any questions that you have about our local market. This is what I strive to do. I want to keep you up to date on what's going on week by week, month to month, and year over year, because this is the best way to understand what's happening with our market. Now, a message to my buyers: if you are holding off buying a home because you are waiting for these interest rates to go down, just keep in mind that when the interest rates go down, what's going to happen? You're going to have a lot more competition because there's a lot of other buyers that are also waiting for interest rates to come down. So my advice to you is, if you find a home and you can afford it now with its current interest rates and it checks off the majority of your wants and needs list, you should seriously consider buying that home today and then refinancing it later when the interest rates are expected to drop, because you have less competition today than you will when the interest rates do go down. If you have any specific questions, because everybody's situation is different and your needs are different, I want to help you and make sure that you understand what our current local market is and how I can help you achieve your real estate goals.